It is day 2 of the reading rush. I'm keeping my voice down a little bit because Jeff is working from home today too. I'm not sure how my update schedule is going to work. I've got to figure out a way to do that at the same time as not disturbing him, so we'll see how that goes. But my plan today is to at least start A Blade So Black. I want to give myself enough time to read that before Shay and my book club live show that is going to be this Sunday, and I don't want to rush that one. I really want to let that one sink in, so I'll probably flop back and forth between A Blade So Black and finishing some of the stories in the Book of Dragons. I definitely want to finish at least the one I fell asleep reading today. I might read a couple more, but I'm not going to push that book today as much as I did yesterday. I think I'm going to primarily focus on A Blade So Black, which is okay. Other than that, I don't really have anything too exciting planned. Those are the 2 books I'm going to focus on. I did see that Teespring is releasing dog hoodies now, so I might start looking into that and adding some dog hoodie designs to my Teespring shop. I think that's something that'd be really fun, and I'll probably even order some for the hellhounds and even for the cats because they wear dog sweaters all the time. When I got the email about that, there was some excitement because I love dog hoodies and I love dressing up the animals in winter times to keep them warm. So anyways, that was not really important. I am going to go and get everything set up for work downstairs. I am fresh and ready for the day, and we'll see how it goes. Albus, Albus, are you comfortable? Are you comfortable, puppy? How did you even?
That's kind of impressive.
I think his body is going down the armrest.
I think it is.
You were too cute.
Just look up and his head and ears are staring at me.
Okay. I love you, puppy. Honestly, I don't really have much of an update for you. It's lunchtime. I'm about to go make lunch for both of us. I did finish the story I fell asleep to last night, the Garth Nix puppet story. It was mainly about dragon hunting and figuring out who they are because sometimes they can take human form. I enjoyed it. It was okay, let me preface that. It was enjoyable, but it was confusing, especially going right into the story and not having context of this world that he had or that was created. But I like the dragon hunting aspect of it. I believe the next story is going to be by Seanan McGuire, but I am hoping that this afternoon I can start A Blade So Black and actually get a start on that. I haven't had time. I haven't had any breaks this morning. So that is why I only finished that story, but it's something. Anyways, I'm gonna go make lunch and I will get back to you. Update time. I have started A Blade So Black. I have several thoughts on it. Some of them I'm letting sit for a little while before I make a full judgment on the story. I do like all of the references going on in the story, the fact that there's cosplay and Sailor Moon and Buffy and all that kind of stuff. The Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass references, there are a lot of like direct quotes. I don't know how I feel about how it's interwoven in the story yet. I find that retellings of any of the Alice storylines can go a couple different directions. You could get people who are just quoting the text and using names and places and dates to form their own story, which can go well, but sometimes it's very cheesily done. And then there are other stories that pull into that whimsical nature of Alice in Wonderland, the nonsense, the dreamlike quality that all of it takes. I do have to admit, I really like the nonsense and the dreamlike and the whimsical nature of Alice in Wonderland more than anything else, and Through the Looking Glass. And I know some of that can be taken in a very darker direction, and I'm not always put off by that. It's more of I like to get a feel that the author knows the meat of the text and the nature of the text more than just using those very familiar, the very tropey quotes and lines and names and all that kind of stuff to just throw it in there and slap it on and rekajigger things. That's why I don't want to form a full thought on this story yet. I'm just kind of letting it flow as the storytelling is going on. I'm really liking the characters, and like I said, I am loving the fact that all these other fandoms and all of these other really nerdy geeky things that I relate to are being pulled into this story as well. I'm a little paranoid about the direction that the retelling aspects are going to take. I still have a few more hours in my workday. I just took a little break because I'm about to do a long haul of meetings, so I thought I would give you an update before I dive back into all of this. I am hoping to get a little further into A Blade So Black before the end of the day, and then probably this evening I will switch back to a book, or the Book of Dragons. I think I want to switch to the Book of Dragons in the evening, because if I do fall asleep while reading, it's not a big deal to go back and start at the beginning of a short story as it is to trying to piece back together what I was slowly falling asleep reading that I wasn't doing any comprehension on. So that is my plan, at least until I finish the Book of Dragons. So I will see you back when I have another update. This is my life. This is how things go. It's about feeding time, so they're kindly letting me know I need to stop working. I didn't get very much farther in my reading, I'm not gonna lie. I was mostly working in meetings and all that kind of stuff. I did read just a little bit more, and I got introduced to the characters D and Dem, which you can guess who those characters are. By the way, this isn't A Blade So Black. So Alice in Wonderland Through the Looking Glass. Yeah, you're gonna tell the story? So So like I said, you can guess which characters those are. I simply like them right now because the author described them as being Spike lookalikes. Like I said, I am loving the other references in this book right now. It is a very quick read. It's not a complicated read by any means, which is good. Great for this readathon. But yeah, I don't have any more new thoughts. I'm going to give in and feed the monsters. Yeah. And we'll see where the day takes us after that. So before I completely forget, I was watching some of the day one reading rush vlogs, which I love to do. It doesn't help my reading at all, and it kind of distracts me from what I need to do. But I love to have them on in the background as I'm working sometimes. And I was watching Shay's over at Shay Geeks Out reading vlog day one for the reading rush. And I just had to stop and have a moment because she bought one of my Teespring sweaters. Did not expect that at all, and it looks absolutely gorgeous, and I'm so glad she's happy with it and that she purchased one of those. I love it so much. So thank you, Shay. You guys should go check out her video. And of course, if you want to see what I'm talking about, all the information is out down below. But she's my very first order. I feel like I need to post that in a frame somewhere on the wall downstairs in my office. It's like I'm actually sort of a seller. I don't know. It's just one of those projects where I did that as my senior project art school years ago, and now the possibility of seeing some of those designs out in the wild, it makes my heart happy. I have a few of the designs myself up in my closet. I think I need to reorder a few simply because COVID hasn't been kind to me. We're working on that. It's fine. But come this winter, you will probably see me sporting some of those sweaters as well because I just like them so much. But that was a side tangent. I'm going to get back to feeding the animals so Gilly doesn't eat all of his toys. And Fia no longer tries to murder me in my sleep. Last update of the day. Like yesterday, I passed out. It's going to be a standard theme if I'm going to get the full day's worth of information into this vlog. Is I usually end up passing out at some point on the couch. Standard procedure, but that's okay. It's fine. I did get further in the Book of Dragons. When I started reading this next section of the book, the first story was by Seanan McGuire. And I have to say that it is by far my favorite story in the whole collection so far. I absolutely loved it. It was written about dragons and the fact that they like to hoard slash collect things, and in this case maybe that just happens to be foster children, and I loved it so much. After that, there was another poem which was okay, but then we hit a story that, as I interpreted it, as I started trying to piece that together, I almost interpreted it as if this race of beings had come from the stars or wherever, and they had started geomodding humans. They just ravaged everything, and then dragons just happened to be also one of the things that this race of beings had started to take control of. That one was hard to understand at first because you were just thrown in the middle of everything, so you didn't necessarily understand all that was going on. Eventually I got there, but it was a little bit of a struggle at first. But it kind of matched up with the next story, because the next story was about a planet that humans had colonized, but things had gone a little wrong. But on the same planet, they shared this space with dragons who are a little unlike dragons that I've seen before. They were more hive-like, and they had this hive mentality, and we got to see the cycle of one of these hives. And I like seeing dragons in that state and what that would mean. There was also a point in this story where there is a human and a dragon who coexist, but they can't really communicate. There's a language barrier there. The human realizes it. The dragon sees humans as unintelligent, and something that tries to communicate, possibly has some intelligence there, but most likely doesn't, which I liked it. The last story I read was, again, I think these stories were grouped together because they had some similar themes, but this one is humans had crashed on this planet, and there was this other race of being that they were dealing with, and this is several generations in. This was 1,000 or so years. These beings are more energy than anything else, and there's a treaty and the possibility of the treaty being broken, and so there's conflict between the humans and this race of beings, and through this conflict a dragon is born, which a lot of these stories is dealing with the fact that dragons are real and what all of that means for humans. But this is the first story where this is the dragon's creation story, and that led into the final poem that I read for this section. I'm really liking this collection so far. It's a mix of stories and a mix of story types, which I think is keeping me on my toes. I believe I'm about probably a good 80% of the way through this book right now. I, of course, will put the page daily total up on the screen. This total is what I read in the Book of Dragons and what I've read in A Blade So Black, which I'm about a quarter of the way through. I have a feeling that I'm going to finish the Book of Dragons tomorrow, and then I'll put another dent in A Blade So Black. I'm liking both reads right now for different reasons, and I think these were both very good books to choose for a readathon. Other than that, I'm just tired. Once again, it's 15 minutes till midnight. At least I'm consistent on when I pass out and when I wake up. I have some duties to do with the animals before we go to bed, so I will get this vlog uploaded, hopefully, sometime tomorrow morning. And if you're seeing this, it's either tomorrow already or sometime in the future. So time travel. Hey. But yeah, it's another day done, and